and social development. Allow me to say briefly that we'll be starting off with welcoming remarks by Vice President Victoria Kwakwa, followed by a keynote address by His Excellency Vice President Dr. James Wani-Iga. Our team will then provide a short presentation on the main findings and recommendations of the report. After the presentation, we will ask Honorable Minister Pal Maideng to deliver a special address. And after the special address, there will be a panel discussion moderated by our water sector manager, Ms. Shoma Ulik. And lastly, our country director, Usman Dion, who is the country director for South Sudan, Sudan, Ethiopia, and Eritrea, and he's a water sector specialist himself, will close out the event with some concluding remarks. So without further ado, I would like to invite our Vice President, Victoria Kwakwa, to deliver the opening remarks.
Thank you, Firas. So Your Excellency James Wani-Iga, a Vice President of the Republic of South Sudan, who will join us momentarily, Honorable Minister Pal Maideng, Minister of Water Resources and Irrigation, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Allow me on behalf of the World Bank to welcome you all to our event today, focused on the theme of water security for peace and development, and the launching of our new report under the title of Rising from the Depths, Water Security and Fragility in South Sudan. We're honored and delighted by the high-level participation of His Excellency Dr. James Wani-Iga, the Vice President of the Republic of South Sudan for the Economic Cluster, and Honorable Minister Pal Maideng, Minister of Water Resources and Irrigation. Let me also express my own delight in being here and participating in this event during my first visit to South Sudan as the new World Bank Vice President for Eastern and Southern Africa. I believe our new report that we're launching today embodies the vision of the World Bank for a world that is water secure for all, and comes at a critical juncture for South Sudan. This country, like many on the continent of Africa, finds itself on the front lines of our collective struggle against climate change. Today, as all of you know, the world is already facing a water crisis of too much water, too little water, or water that is just polluted. And climate change is exacerbating this crisis. Climate change and its devastating consequences are already here, with 9 out of 10 climate events being water-related. Water is a central part of our efforts to both mitigate and adapt to the unprecedented impacts of climate change, which have made the water cycle far less predictable and water availability and quality less reliable. If we do not act decisively, extreme weather events could push more than 20 million more East and Southern Africans into poverty. Yet while water is often the first victim of climate change, we also know that many solutions to the climate change challenge run through the water sector itself. These solutions include enhanced water storage to protect communities against water variability, renewable energy production using hydropower, irrigation optimization, and modern sanitation infrastructure to reduce emissions. So, investing in this sector is promoting climate change adaptation, protecting water-related ecosystems such as South Sudan's famous Sud wetland is also a win-win policy in terms of biodiversity and economic outcomes. As the report suggests, the total economic value of the multiple services from the wetlands is estimated to be at least $3.3 billion US. Honorable Minister, distinguished guests, we also know that clean water is fundamental to health, to economic growth, and to the environment. Yet despite the importance of water to global development, we're not on track to meet our water-related SDGs. And in sub-Saharan Africa, we're moving backwards as gaps in access continue to increase. The report also gives an update on access gaps in South Sudan, reporting that more than 60% of the population, about 6.6 million South Sudanese, lack access to basic, clean drinking water, and about 75%, that's 8.2 million people, practice open defecation.
We welcome the presence of His Excellency Dr. James Wani Iga, the Vice President of the Republic of South Sudan and the Vice President for the Economics Cluster. Your Excellency, you are most welcome. And with your permission, Your Excellency, Vice President Victoria Kwakwa will continue her welcoming remarks. Victoria.
Thank you, Firas, and a warm welcome, Excellency Vice President. This reality represents a profound challenge to South Sudan and to all of us, and we can do better to raise the living standards for all in this beautiful country. One of the World Bank's priorities is to help close this access gap. Our vision is to scale up universal access to water and sanitation services that are safe, affordable, and sustainable, and that these services include everyone and are gender sensitive. But access is only part of the water story of South Sudan. To achieve water security, the country also needs to better manage its water resources. South Sudan needs a strategy that focuses on water resources as a driver of inclusive growth. Such a strategy should address issues around water for the environment, water for agriculture, and build resilience against floods and droughts in the context of climate change. Building resilience requires investing in infrastructure such as storage, but also river transport infrastructure and empowering and strengthening institutions at all levels. Water resources management also has a regional dimension. South Sudan's water resources are shared, and therefore sound water management will also involve sharing information and working effectively with the neighboring countries. In this journey, South Sudan is not alone. The World Bank and other development partners stand ready to support its efforts to respond to the current crisis of flooding and to provide reliable, safe, and responsive water and sanitation services over the medium and long term. Thank you. The World Bank is pleased to build upon the analytic platform and the flagship report discussed today to support sector reforms and infrastructure investments through our growing operation platform. This includes a proposed $215 million South Sudan activities for South Sudan under the Regional Climate Resilience Program that will provide near-term solutions to flooding in affected river subbasins and will put in place the building blocks to address the flooding issues systematically and sustainably in the context of climate change. I'm very honored to be here today to support this profoundly important development agenda, we need to come together, all of us, with drive and determination to leverage new sources of funding and to find creative solutions to deliver on these objectives. On the side of the World Bank, we are strongly committed to working with the government of South Sudan and key partners, key development and humanitarian partners, to help build the economic and social future of this country, envisioned by its leadership and its people. I thank you and welcome you again, one and all, to this event. So I'd like to